Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest of Dawn of War Soulstorm casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 versus 1 on the Shrine of Exelon. Playing on the southern side as the Imperial Guard, we've got Love You All. And playing on the northern side as the Space Marines, we've got Randall 4. Randall 4 will be opening up a Servitor, triple Scouts and a Chapel Barracks. Whereas Love You All is going to go for a couple, or should I say triple, Guardsmen, a Tech Priest Engineer, as well as a Infantry Command and a Plasma Generator. It's a very interesting map for the Imperial Guard, considering that this map is one big old circle, basically, with a critical location in the middle and a couple of relics on either side. And normally the Imperial Guard like to put their Infantry Command in the most defensible position, but considering that this map is 2 choke points for them, they've got to basically choose which one they want to defend the most, and we are seeing Love You All defend the left-hand side, so that means that their right-hand side is going to be a little bit more vulnerable from the perspective of the Space Marines if they decide to go a little bit aggressive. And we are seeing a Force Commander, which will probably come on down and see what can bash apart. We are also seeing the Command Squad from the Imperial Guard. And the Command Squad, if they go for the Psyker and the Priest, should be able to beat the Force Commander in a straight-up 1 versus 1. But I assume that the Force Commander will be supported by something else, unless, of course, they go for just a Force Commander, just for aggressive purposes, and decide to get as much in the way of their economy going as possible. We're not seeing a Plasma Generator. So that makes me think that Randall 4 is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Go for maybe some supporting Space Marines. Here comes the Force Commander. I'm actually going to go for Commissar instead. So just going for something a little bit more health orientated. Here comes the Force Commander. Servitor falling back from that Command Squad. Rocking on forward. Force Commander not wanting to get involved in close combat too early. To get some pot shots off at the main man himself. Watching him run right past. Still focusing on the Servitor, but then deciding, there we go, turn around and finish him off. An extra Servitor coming out just for the good times and the fun times. This post over here might be denied as well if the Servitor gets knocked down. Can he finish it? Just in the nick of time is able to finish that, but that's 2 Servitors being taken down now. Command Squad not committing too much to that aggression, just getting what little shots off it can. And might even potentially get a Scout Squad down as well. Lost 1 model to these Guardsmen down over here. Running across that negative cover, or that heavy cover, should I say, has been taken down all the same. That Force Commander, again, not getting involved, just seeing what he can deal with at ranged. Squad of Space Marines are out. It will be harder for the Command Squad to whittle down. You have the backline listing post not been built up as of yet. Over here we have seen some Scouts get a decap in there, slowing down that Imperial Guard advance. And these guys here, they're a little bit far flung from everyone, but that's fine, that's okay. As long as they're making sure that those Space Marines and the Command Squad, or that Commander even, isn't putting too much pressure on their flanks. We're all broken on Imperial Guardsmen, and Tech Priest Agency here, straight away popping a listing post on top of that. Also got a lone Commissar coming up, quite decent in close combat. Scouts won't be doing much against him anytime soon. Will fall back. Commissar going to join the Imperial Guardsmen just to increase their morale regeneration. And there we go. We will probably see some decent firefights around this heavy cover on Shrine of Exelon. Once the early game harassment is done with, it's usually a big old fight over these relics on either side. Already seen that happening over here. Heavy bottle turret being placed down by I Love You on the right hand side, just to make sure that both flanks are equally as secure. Although heavy bottle turret not nearly as secure as a infantry command. It's supposed to be occupied by the Tech Priest Engineer. It's been brought down relatively quickly by a maximally reinforced Space Marine squad. And the build order for Space Marines basically is defined by what the Imperial Guard go for. The Imperial Guard dedicate themselves a lot to infantry. You'll see a lot of heavy bolters and all that stuff from them. Maybe even a Rhino, so they can maneuver around, do all the bad stuff. Whereas if the Imperial Guard go for more vehicles and stuff, well, I suppose they'll still go for a good chunk of Space Marines. In Tier 2 they can get those missile launchers. So maybe we'll see the 3 Kings build. Which, for those unaware, 3 Kings is Force Commander, Chaplain and Librarian. Commander over here attempting to escape But full commander squad wipe there. And these regular guardsmen will not be able to fight on these Space Marines in the heavy cover. 2 squads in total. Looking to upgrade that fortified listing post and regain their command squad. Over here, though, they've managed to consolidate their hold on the relic. Also going to pop down a heavy bottle turret inside the heavy cover. But currently, the coverage has been 85 and 20 compared to 86 and 0. Space Marines just focusing primarily on keeping the pressure up, and I suppose that makes sense. That's why they've gone for this amount of Space Marines. Listing post has gone down. No tier 2 on the way for the Imperial Guard at the moment, neither.
While the enemies of the Emperor still draw
But
breath,
won't be
there
able
can
to
no peace.
do much against the infantry command. Quite interesting that he's actually put a lot of pressure on this side of the map as opposed to this side over here with no infantry command. That might come back to bite him as he will not be able to push too far into the Imperial Guard base. Turret over here also constantly peppering this listing post as well. Double listing post being placed on the left-hand side. Which again, being so close to the Imperial Guard's defensible side, don't know if this is going to be some issues later on. Imperial Guard are able to push on that side a little bit easier. Command squad now coming over to continue the push on the right hand side, so they're kind of just ignoring Space Marines over here, knowing that they can't really do much on this side. It's got the armory on the way as well, and like I say, heavy bottles probably the main thing here. Tier 2 on the way. I assume tier 2 is on the way for you. Yep, just about. Space Marines a little bit earlier, but I don't think that'll make a huge difference. One listing post down. Another listing post is about to go down as well.
At your command.
Attempting to throw away this command squad, but they have gone for double priests here. So they're building bashing potential. Quite significant. That's 2 of them gone. Also decap in there as well. Quite frustrating. Especially since the Space Marine player has not upgraded any of his listing posts. He'll certainly feel each one that's fallen, but is going to sneak an extra listing post from the Imperial Guard's side of the map.
Area secure.
A terrible situation. Terrible situation. All Force Commander fighting back all his guardsmen. They are now going to go for some grenade launchers.
Faith is our shield.
So if the heavy bottles do come on these
Is our shield.
Space Marines, those grenade launchers will knock them around, although just going to go for some war gear bionics for now.
Vigilance.
Will help them with their trading, I suppose. Quite a decent health increase on the Space Marines is the upgrade. Tier 2 has finished. But the Commander plus double priests,
Ever vigilant.
quite a lot of damage. Space Marines will need some more assistance. They want to go toe-to-toe with that squad.
Then carry a big gun.
Guardsmen attempting to capture that critical location in the centre, but being shot down very quickly. Scouts
Here.
looking to recapture this strategic point over here, but the Imperial Guard looking like they're potentially going to give the Space Marines a taste of their own medicine. One priest a bit low on health at the moment. Line of pistols on the way,
Your command.
just to give their sergeants a little extra va-va-voom, as they say. Chaplain, always a nice addition to a infantry heavy composition for the Space Marines. Able to increase the health regen by quite a considerable amount of nearby units. Also gone for some frag grenades as well. The Imperial Guard can launch the grenades, then Space Marines can certainly throw them. Can a Space Marine throw a grenade further than a grenade launcher can launch it? Who really knows? In the Olympics of the 41st millennium, that's a question on my lips. Recognized commander's finished, and I assume Chimeras. Problem with these tactical marines is that they've got no vehicle upgrade. Oh, sorry, they've got no weapon upgrade at the moment, so they can still turn their hand to whatever the Imperial Guard throw at them. Servitors attempting to build up a heavy bottle turret. Listing post shooting down on the command squad with 2 servitors. Can they prevent them from building it up? Guardsmen zoning these guys away. Seeing that one servitor has been killed. Here comes some assault marines. Fighting in the heavy cover is exactly where they want to be. Any spotting fire coming in, can effectively ignore. He says as one dies, ignore me. There comes a Chimera. And now the Imperial Guard are significantly more mobile. Submarine's actually not doing all that well here. Revolt turret going for a missile turret upgrade. As Space Marines push down over onto the right hand side. There's some doom being witnessed by the Psyker. Also got a double priests in their ranks as well. Helping with the overall DPS. Commons are to inspire the men, increasing their firing rate. Or is it the accuracy? It's one or the other. All this stuff, like I say, quite risky putting it all over here. Now the Imperial Guard have got the potential to destroy it all. Space Marines are inside the base. One priest being whacked around by that chaplain. Brought down very quickly. And even, again, with no weapon upgrades, breaking through the mechanized command relatively okayly. Imperial Guard will respond from the northern side. He's focusing this bad boy down. But it's now being repaired by the Tech Priest Agency here. So losing quite a fair few Space Marines there. I mean, how many Imperial Guardsmen are in there? There were 3 in total, or 3 individual models in there. Allowing them to fire with plasma pistols. Quite a sad time for the white Space Marines. But been slowed down by the challenging shouts of that chaplain. Potentially get a squad wipe on them. If they can focus fire, there we go. That's one squad been taken out. Listening post double plasma generators. That is such a terrible situation for the Space Marines, losing quite a lot of material there. Attempting to get some target finders, increasing the range damage of the Space Marines. Here comes a fire. Command squad attempting to charge on in. That's a lot in the way of Space Marines to tie up. Imperial Guardsmen falling behind the listing post here, or not necessarily behind, but nearby, just for additional defensive purposes. Not being able to finish off that armory, but still not a bad get, I suppose. But just Space Marines just working on 2 squads and an assault marine squad as well. Not a bad amount of stuff they're getting done. Chimera just trying to ignore these guys over here, do some damage on this side, but I do believe that the Space Marines have a lot more in the way of building damage going on this side. So I don't think the Imperial Guard are going to be favoured in a base trade in this circumstance. But Space Marines are going to respond. I suppose they don't want to go up against the infantry command. Submarines getting the decap in there, while the Imperial Guard attempt to reconquer all this. We'll see the escalation, engagement stuff going on, which should negate the lack of listing posts, or at least help towards it. The economy's been 74 and 40 compared to 80 and 10, so very low economies in this game. One priest. We'll see that sometimes the Imperial Guard will just summon a couple of lone priests on their own just to go inside the base and do some damage. They don't do a bad job with those chain swords of theirs. One listening post goes down. Imperial Guard now falling back away from the assault marines. Space Marines cannot keep up with them. That Chimera making sure that they're staying on the back foot. But now they've gone for 2 missile launchers and 2 missiles. Alright, so double missile launchers. Both of them interesting. They're just planning to focus more on the buildings rather than anything else. The assault marines are going to tie up the infantry, while also defending stuff. Got the Tech Priest Agency and a priest inside the base there, and now the Space Marines have got no plasma generators at all. It's a bit of a bind here. Do they go back and defend, or do they continue the push? I assume that the idea would be continue the push, right? You've got quite a strong fighting force here. The Imperial Guard can't really take you on on fair fighting ground.
Attacking.
Save the assault marines and just use them for defensive purposes. Got the plasma crystal in there. Although mind you, in saying that the commander, or should I say the priest is commander armor. So is the tech priest engine seer.
Here to serve.
Rebuilding all those listing posts.
Taking
Hey, just
damage.
commit, don't you? That's what I assume you would do. That's why you've got the double missile launchers in it.
The enemy must be
Lost a relic over on this side, or should I say the armory. Already had lost a relic, but double more so now that we've lost the armory. Those missiles ain't going to be doing much at sniping out any infantry. Infiltrated skull probe. Zapping that kind of... Oh, that's nice. You don't normally see the skull probe being used in that kind of manner. But skull probes can disable vehicles. Is it also buildings as well? I'm fairly certain it is. I could be wrong though. Imperial Guard now been armed with a fair few plasma guns. The spaceman's got to watch out a little bit. Might struggle. But now they've got the missile launchers, should be able to deal a killing blow to this infantry command. It'll be a major pain for the Imperial Guard. They're already at squad cap. Do not want to lose this, but they will lose it indeed. Good combination of grenade launchers and plasma guns there. Grenade launchers knock these guys around, plasma guns to get them deaded. Randall for replacing their lost plasma generator. And we're going to need to see another infantry command from the Imperial Guard.
On alert, brothers. The enemy must be nearby.
It's quite difficult for both teams, really. Every time they push down on the left side, something happens on the right side. Means they can't fully commit, although I did like the wombo combo of these guardsmen and some lone priests going about their wicked and foul business. What do you do later on? I suppose survive. Maybe get into tier 3. A couple of Lehman Russes wouldn't go amiss from the perspective of the Imperial Guard. Or do you just commit to the infantry? I suppose you've probably gone for a couple of upgrades on them. So some Cascans and Ogrins wouldn't go amiss. Especially just to counteract all this Space Marine nonsense here. The Space Marines, not entirely sure. Do you just double down on the infantry as well? I don't know actually. With all these plasma guns, probably not. Unless you get a Rhino out. Just so you can then get into battle, pop your guys out, shoot these guys up before they're able to mass you down. Might be the way. No, he's going to go for Sacred Artifact. And that's probably a Librarian on the way. So all three heroes making their faces known and present. Double Chimeras on the way. And that is a lot of Imperial Guardsmen, actually. There's 4 squads in total. And with such a small amount of Space Marines left over, it's playing a bit of a risky game here. He's not even getting any more lads out at the moment, just increasing his economy and whatnot. Skull Probe moving around, just getting that additional vision. Space Marine spotting this Chimera. But won't engage. Now knows where they are. It now also knows how many there are. You just kind of ignore them. Dropping off down here. Seems like lonely squad of Assault Marines. Chimera goes down from that melter bomb being thrown in. Very nice stuff. Jumping straight into more Imperial Guardsmen. And this tech priest's been used wonderfully just to keep these listing posts occupied. There's firing stuff coming out of them. Assault Marines not really able to get a decent engagement. Everywhere they jump, there's something firing at them. Now have some... Oh, didn't even think about Grey Knights. Grey Knights, what a wonderful idea. They've got their charge ability, they jump in. They've also got their smite ability, which basically makes a whole area do some damage. It's quite a mean bit of damage as well. Double Space Marine still low on numbers there. Metal Bomb blasting down that Chimera down to half health, but the Imperial Guard, while this is going on, is over here doing significant amounts of damage. Librarian is on his way out, but will be unsupported in the northern engagement. Morale being broken. Commanding shout slowing these guys down once again. So squad wipe on that side. And the Space Marines, they're going to come back once again. It seems like every time they get some leeway into the Imperial Guardsman's base and attempt to do some damage, they've got to come back and defend. Librarian not feeling all that confident going in solo. From the Space Marines. Yeah, if there was a Rhino on their side, they'd be able to respond to these to this aggression really, really quickly. With a low economy, they can't afford really to build up a machine cult and a Rhino, as well as go for all these heroes. Assault Marine's been wiped out. Scouts coming back out. And one grenade been thrown right in the middle of those Space Marines. Shaking off there. And attempting to tie up these Imperial Guardsmen. They just decided, nope, we're going to go inside the Chimera and run away. And one squad of Assault Marines left over now. There's not many of them. Was that a Basilisk? That was indeed a Basilisk. Actually, you know what? Not a bad idea for Basilisk on this map. I mean, what? With this map being quite small, its firing range is about this size. So if you pop it somewhere here, the entire rest of the map is free real estate for it. So constant firepower coming in. And I mean, the Assault Marines can jump over and bash with that melter bomb. But we'll need 2 melter bombs to take one down. One fell swoop. That Space Marines are going to recapture their bits and bobs.
What is your will?
Imperial Guard just deciding, right, we'll take it down the right side. Let's now take on the left side. Triple Servitors. Not sure why there's so many of these guys knocking around. But they're doing it. I mean, granted, I understand skull probes to slow down the Chimeras. That makes sense, but having so many of them. Imperial Guard, they've only got one infiltrated unit, and that is their assassin. You don't normally see Chimera being focused down, but it will just maneuver away. And what's economies at the moment? 66 and 20 compared to 107 and 47. Assault Marine struggling. Oh, I still never usually see the assassin, and here he is. Okay, fair enough. Big smite been placed on these guardsmen there. Zapping them down to half health, but they're going to jump inside the Chimera and just drive away. Like they own the place. So I assume then putting some more pressure on this side. And Randall Fort probably sees the writing on the wall. Maybe a bit premature, but to be fair, the Imperial Guard were in such a strong position there. I mean, it all basically came down to Chimeras, didn't it? Every time the Space Marines did something, the Imperial Guard either fought them and won, or if it was a situation where they couldn't win, just got into the Chimera and drove away. So it was a good idea from the Space Marines to go for all the heroes and stuff, but not being able to respond to those guardsmen constantly maneuvering around and doing damage left and right, meaning that they couldn't quite get their economy on the go as well as the guardsmen. They were in tier 3. They had the money to be able to get all the big late game stuff. So yeah, probably a good idea for the Space Marines to bounce out there. So cheers boys and girls for watching at home, and if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week, and there is also a Discord, where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. Mine's been Mr. Landshark, pleasure as always, never short, and I will see you in a bit. Peace.